freebie cell, welcome back. Today's video is going to teach you how to do a handstand. Handstands are something I just absolutely love. I'm completely addicted to them. I think the feeling I get when I'm upside down and I'm actually holding a handstand makes me feel, I don't know, like I'm flying or I'm invincible. Something really cool. So I wanted to share with you the things that I've learned on how to get into a handstand. I have to say that for me personally, for a long time, I did practice. Okay, let me just start by saying, in my personal opinion, there are two different ways of doing a handstand. There might be many more, but this is what I've discovered. One way is more the yoga way, and the other way is more the gymnastics way. I started off in my journey doing the yoga way for a very long time. I think I did it for like 10 years, and I still wasn't holding the handstand, and it was getting very frustrating. And so I decided, you know what? Seeing as the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, let's change strategy and let's go to the gymnastics arm balance teachers and see what they have to offer. They taught in a very different way, and so I'll teach you the two different styles, but I have to be honest, for me personally, in my body, the gymnastics arm balance way helped me get handstand a lot quicker than the yoga way. Sorry, yoga people. Though there is a downside to it, the handstand version for gymnastics people, it's very difficult to do some of the yoga transitions. So if you are going to take the strategy that I'm going to teach you today, which is more the gymnastics arm balance version, then make sure you develop your strength to the point where you're holding a handstand and then start to practice the yoga way with different technique. And I'll take you through exactly what all of that is so you can start practicing the transitions. That's where I'm in my practice at the moment. I have practiced the gymnastics way, I've nailed the handstand, and now I'm starting to go back to the yoga way with that strength that I've found, and I'm starting to practice the transitions. So without much further ado, I'll take you through the steps that I've learned to get into handstand, and then I'll talk about what the differences are. Let's go. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to talk about is what the differences are between the yoga version of handstand and the more gymnastics version. Whenever you're doing a downward dog, the natural thing to do is have your hands slightly wider than your shoulders, maybe I'd say just slightly less than your yoga mat for a downward dog. But actually, if you try and do handstand with your hands that wide, again, that's the yoga version, I found that a lot harder. So when I was practicing and I wasn't holding it, then I started going to the arm balance teachers, and he was like, the first thing that he said to me was like, your arms are just way too wide apart. You should actually have the hands much closer. So it feels really awkward for us yoga people because we're used to more space, but just have a go, bring your hands in a bit, and what you'll notice, if you just lift your arms up like this towards your computer screen or whatever it is that you're looking at me through, your shoulders, if you draw a line straight forward, you'll find that your hands are actually a lot closer together. And so the whole concept in an arm balance way of teaching a handstand is that you stack the elbows on top of the wrists, the shoulders on top of the elbows, and then higher from that, the hips on top of the shoulders. So think about that stacking action when you're in your downward dog, and if your hands are too wide, maybe explore for a bit, bringing your hands a bit closer. Okay, so that's stage one. I'll just keep talking to you like this because it's easy. So that's stage one, hands in a bit closer. Stage two, the yoga way of doing things is always shoulders down, shoulders away from ears. And that's something that in my understanding was always the right way because you just hear every single yoga teacher always saying shoulders down, shoulders down, shoulders down. Then I started going to the arm balance teachers and they were like, shoulders up. You need to push up literally like your deltoids are squishing your face. And I was like, dude, excuse me, shoulders down. That's the right way. And he's like, no, because you need to activate your push muscles to be able to activate all the muscles that are going to help support you in a handstand. This kind of freaked my brain out a little bit. And so, as you know, I'd done my degree in physiotherapy, and so I actually went to a head physio at the time, and I was like, what's the deal with the shoulders? Like, should shoulders always be down? Is it bad if they ever lift up? And what she said was so interesting, and I really want to say this to the whole yoga community. She said this, she said, shoulders down all the time is as bad as shoulders up all the time. She said, you need to do both. She said, there's something called scapula, that's this big bone, humeral, that's this long bone, rhythm, which dictates that as your arm bone moves up, at some point the scapula, the shoulder blade, also should lift up. It's this natural thing a shoulder should do. And she said, as a head physio, she said, I've worked with so many yogis that have shoulder problems because they're always pulling their shoulders down. And so I was like, wow, that like kind of opened my brain up to a new way of thinking about shoulders. And so what I wanted to share with you was that when I went back to my arm balance teacher and I started doing handstands and I started practicing pushing my shoulders up towards my face, I started getting all the stuff that I was finding hard with handstand right, and I started holding it. And the added benefit is actually I had a few shoulder issues, but they started going away. So I don't know if this is going to help you as well. Give it a go. Everybody's different, but maybe this is some advice that you can explore in your own body. So let's start putting this together. Hands a little closer together, and then think of stacking all your joints. So I'll move back just so maybe you can see. Elbows are going to go on top of wrists. Shoulders are pushing on top of elbows, and instead of sinking, I'm activating my push muscles. And then I'm going to take one leg up, and in the beginning all I did was I practiced kicks just to get stronger with leaving the ground, because a lot of people I teach, they can't even kick up against the wall. They just haven't got that strength, which is why in every class I teach I practice the kicks, because I just want that strength in your body. That like rebounding action is not hard for you because you practiced it so much. So that's the first stage. Just get used to kicking up. So I've moved over here so we can use this wall. And the idea is now to teach you how you can practice on your own, because I think most people, like I did, I just used the wall for many years. Don't worry if you've been doing anything wrong, because the good thing is you've been kicking up, you've been getting stronger in your legs to kick up and your shoulders to hold the position. It's just that naturally what most people do is as they kick up, they use their legs by moving their legs to see if they can find the middle and hold the handstand. Now, again, super good, you got stronger, but if you're gonna do this version of handstand that I'm teaching, you need to make sure that you've stacked all your joints, and that instead of you moving the legs to take your feet away from the wall, it's the push from the shoulders that helps to align you. So with a light, it's difficult to see, but I'm gonna do my best to show you what it's like. So this is you've kicked up against your wall, and let's say now you want to move the legs, but I'm gonna teach you instead, you're just gonna do the push, and your feet should come away from the wall. Yay! I'm always amazed at how well this works. It's incredible how just the push brought my feet away from the wall. Okay guys, that's it for how to do a handstand. The two biggest tips are stack your joints and practice the push. Another thing that I didn't mention while I was teaching is it's very tempting to relax the muscles of the legs and become a bit softer. But you've really got to squeeze the legs together. You've got to squeeze your bum and get all of the activation through the legs, because actually then it's a lot easier for your lower joints to figure out the balance. And then one more thing is, once you actually got all that stacking going on, you've got your shoulders and your legs strong, practice using your fingertips to find the balance. One of the best pieces of advice that I was ever given was, a lot of people put all their weight in the heel of the hand here. There's no control through this part of your body. What you need to do to find that kind of like that twitching which keeps you in the balance is use your fingertips. So get enough of your body weight into your fingertips so the fingertips turn white, and then use like the crunching of the fingertips in the mat to help you figure out where balance is and then eventually maintain it. I know that that seems like a very simplistic way of doing a very, very difficult balance, but I have faith in you, and I know that just through a lot of practice you can get it. I found it so hard to do a handstand, so I have this belief in my head that if I can do it, anybody can do it. Just practice the tips I gave you, and then also go to some arm balance teachers. Maybe through learning from someone with more experience, you can actually get it there much, much easier. If you want to practice full-length classes with me, please click on the link that's appearing now. Give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments, and I'll see you very soon. Mwah. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.
Now go.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. What do I want to say?